Millwall fan Dan says 4-4-2 simply isn't working. Welcome back to Where Lions Walk. It's 20 minutes of Millwall chat. This week we're talking about the formation that needs to be stopped immediately. Plus, our players are lacking Millwallness. We'll get our panel's view on all that in a second. Plus, there's been a report put out recently that Millwall's finances aren't looking that great. We'll talk to the panel about how worried we are about the future. Plus, would you rather see Millwall promoted, or would you rather see England win the World Cup? A dilemma we're putting to our panel of Lions this week. Thank you all very much for joining us. We're recording this just before the Palace game. So unfortunately, if we have beaten the smashed Crystal Palace, we aren't going to be able to talk about it this week. Fingers crossed we have by the time you're watching this. Delighted to have Callum back with us as well, and making their debuts on Where Lions Walk, two experts in all things Millwall that travel the country up and down the north and across to the west and east, in Charlie and Mike as well. Thank you very much for your company. Right then, Callum, let's kick things off. 4-4-2's got to go, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think the last 5 games, it hasn't worked. So we've tried it. I think it's probably time to move back to the 4-2-3-1, in my personal view. I think having 2 strikers up front haven't really shown nothing so far this season. So, yeah, I think giving it to 1, maybe move in, Negley into the 10, giving someone else a shot on the right. I don't think Negley's a right winger, but yeah, I think giving the formation a little change up will probably help us in the long run going forward, because at the moment I don't think we're showing enough with this formation. So yeah, for me, definitely change it in the next game.
Yeah, that first half against Charlton, Mike, was a little bit insipid, wasn't it? Do you agree?
I fully agree. I think it was quite underwhelming watching it as it was sort of unfolding. We just didn't start well. We didn't get involved. And to be honest, it was kind of hoping we'd hold on till half time at 0-0 in all honesty. I think they needed a bit of a stern talking to in a half-time team talk to essentially make some changes, because it was at that point, it was only ever really going to be one result at that point, and in Charlton's favour.
Yeah, let's look at some other tweets here then. Charlie Lucas says, please play 4-2-3-1. Give BGW more minutes in this cam spot and give Ivanovic more service. We've seen he can score goals last season when he's provided service, but he's not a roaming striker. And please, 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 as we read every week on this channel, please drop Coburn. Do you agree?
Yeah, I would say I agree. I think Ivanovic is definitely he's more of an all-rounder. He can play to feet, he can get in behind, and I definitely say he's obviously, we've seen that he's more clinical compared to Coburn. But I agree with we need to drop the 4-4-2. It does work when we play against teams that we know are going to have the ball. So the Sheffield United away, Norwich away, the teams that do want to play with the ball. I think it does work to play on those type of teams, but especially against the likes of Charlton and, with Swansea coming up, I feel like we should have a go at those teams. These are the teams now, especially with the players that we've bought. I know we've got a lot of injuries, but I feel like with our full squad, especially, it's definitely going to work better for us if we play with a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed with Millwall so far, Callum. I've got to be honest. I expected. I mean, I don't think the league's very good. I'll be quite frank so far. I don't know if you agree, but I expected you to be really, really strong in defence. I know you've lost Tananga, but you've got Kramer there. You've got quality defenders. Why is it that we're seeing? We're not seeing many clean sheets at all, are we? What's happened to you as a defensive point of view?
I don't know. We said this the last couple of weeks, but I've said this the last couple of weeks, but we're just missing something at the minute. I can't put my finger on what it is. I don't know whether it's the lack of injuries and players playing out of position, or whether it's, the team's not clicking yet because we've brought new players in and things like that. But for me, I think we've got quite a few first team injuries at the moment that are probably killing us in some areas. So the likes of midfield, we've got obviously Casper Denor out and Billy Mitchell, and you've got Femi Aziz out, Alfie Doughty's out as well. So they're 4 or 5 key players that will probably be in the starting 11. You see at the start of the season, all 4 of them started. So I think it's difficult defensively. Obviously, Tanganga's a big miss for us. We get that, but I think with our back four, we're still looking good. But again, 4-4-2. Not many teams play 4-4-2 formations anymore. Like you see, most teams play 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. You very rarely see a 4-4-2. So I think that's probably maybe could play a part because again, you could be more open. But yeah, I think it depends on how you see it. But yeah, I've been disappointed really so far.
Okay. As I say, coming up, we'll ask these guys about the club versus country row. Mike, on here, we share some good tweets. We often share some bad tweets as well, and many of them, of course, calling out players. Here's one in particular. See if you agree with it. Oni says, "This is the last time I want to see Cooper, Bryan, and Leonard in a starting lineup for Millwall. We had added some serious quality since Neil has come in, but those three are washed. They're impact substitutes at best."
Yeah, do you know what I do largely kind of feel with that. I think the problem is with the game yesterday, I think a lot of people wanted that sort of Millwallness in the side, and I think with the likes of Leonard, you kind of do have that. But I think the problem is I think towards the end we expected to pretty much keep Tanganga, and we was content with Kramer at right back, and then obviously we got as backups Ryan Leonard, Danny Mack when he's back, and then Wes Harding as well. So I don't think they was too open to getting a fifth right back as such. And then obviously we've filled in with the left back as well, Sturgeon, Doughty added. I don't think pretty much the right back and left back positions, the players that played on Saturday, we intended to be first team starters. But the injuries have kind of forced their hand a little bit. I still think Leonard's good defensively, but I think the way he wants the wingers to play, Amaku and Negley, I don't think Leonard doesn't do the overlapping runs like Kramer did when he was playing right back. And I think that's kind of forced his hand a little bit to change it for Palace and then next week at Watford.
Okay. Staying on that Millwallness theme then, Charlie. Bill says, one thing the club have tried to do is drive out that Millwallness mentality that Harris had. Letting senior players go is one thing, but if we're replacing them with the likes of Cundle, Negley and even Coburn is the mark, then these lads are just pure powder puff. I'm not a Millwall fan, but I get what that means and the Millwallness. Are you becoming a lighter version of what it means to be a Millwall player?
I mean, it's difficult to say based on, I think, with the Millwallness, it's kind of, we love a flying tackle. We love we get anything that gets the crowd going, anything that's, we're not really used to the kind of more technical players like Negley, the Flemings that we had before. We have always had the Honeymans and the players that will work hard for 90 minutes but don't actually bring a lot of quality to the pitch. And I think it's that kind of, we haven't got the balance between the tough, want to go for 90 minutes and the players that can make the difference in the games. So again, like Luke Cundle, for example, he works really hard and he does show some signs of quality in the game, but it's kind of that, he's that mixture between, but we haven't got a lot of that.
Callum, do you agree? Do you sit there and watch and just think, there's industry here, but there isn't that bite, that zealousness to win the ball, to fight for every ball?
Yeah, it's a difficult one really because I kind of see it from two ways. I think you look at the way we're going now, especially in the transfer market with buying these players from abroad, and we're trying to progress our style of play. Now, obviously, if we're going back to the Neil Harris era, obviously throughout League One and the Championship, we was more, obviously, as Charlie said, like flying tackles and, we wanted to work hard for the team. Long balls, like obviously just things like that, certain things. But I think now that Alex Neil's come in and obviously Gary Rowett was sort of in a similar sort of pattern as well. But I think these managers play a different style to the way Neil Harris did. So we're more of a progressive style team now. Probably we're trying to go that way. Whereas you're not going to really be getting, obviously long balls and et cetera, because most teams don't play that way now. So I think obviously football has changed, but again, I think with these players, you will get that Millwallness, because these players are probably a different playing style to what we are used to being seeing for the last 5 or 6 years. So you're going to get that. Obviously, players move on, players stay, but altogether, it's just the way football is now. I think football's changed to the way it was about 3 or 4 years ago. So you can't really compare now to the way we were 3 or 4 years ago with the Millwallness, I don't think. But I can see what people are saying.
Okay, cheers for that, all of you. Right, another report then that's been out since we last spoke to you has been, the finances of Millwall. This is the English Football Nexus reporting. Mike, it says Millwall's finances are worsening. There's a deficit of 19 million in 23-24, despite rising revenues. This has been attributed to explosive salaries and, of course, flops like Zohor. They're destabilising everything. There's urgent need for discipline to reverse this spiral. When it's explored a bit further, you won't be able to read this here, but it's been reckoning that the Bellsons have provided over the period of time over about £101 million of funding, including nearly 50 million in the last 3 years alone, which is entirely in the form of share capital. Now, I'm not a financial expert, but those numbers look a bit worrying, don't they? That the only reason you're staying afloat is because of the Bellsons?
Yeah, I think in terms of financially, the Bellsons, I don't think you can say a bad word about them. They've looked after us for years, gave us stability that we sort of never had before in quite a long time. I think the hard part is we're quite a hard commercial business to sort of gather funding for. We like sometimes having our name spread across the Daily Mail for the wrong reasons. But I think that's kind of the way the club's slightly changing that. You see, we've become a lot more accepting. We do a lot more positive campaigning to sort of try and change the club's image, although, things still happen on the weekend.
Just wait to that away end at Sellers Park. Yeah.
And I think that's the large philosophy with James coming in. Obviously, after John passed away and bringing Gallen on board, it's trying to have an income revenue from buying and selling younger players. Originally, we're used to buy people pretty much over their hill, maybe at their final contract or so, to sort of regain some funds towards funding it instead of coming out of their pocket directly.
Yeah, Charlie, your thoughts? Does it worry you just the amount that they've had to put in just to keep the lights on?
I mean, I feel like you go across any club, the finances, especially as fans, it's hard to look into them directly. We have made a lot of player sales, and obviously, like Mike said, obviously we've sold SA, we've sold, Fleming. I'm sure, if Ben Williams keeps up, we might be able to get a bit of money for him, but hopefully not, he stays. But again, the commercial side of it, we are trying to boost it, but the Millwall kind of side of thing commercially, it is hard to, raise those kind of people, outside investors, because of the history we have, or how other clubs and outside kind of people perceive us. It's even like before we had with the whole rumours of the Saudi takeover, and basically every Millwall fan I spoke to even was like, we don't want that. But yeah, I mean, the Bellsons have been amazing since they've come in. They've taken us out of debt, got us to a point now where we actually are top 10, a championship top 10 team that challenges every season. So, I mean, from behind the scenes, I don't really know what's going on, but on the pitch and the transfer wise, it's much better. We've gone from making free transfers and loan signings dependent to actually signing players in their prime, or young promising players that we can bring through, the likes of Dan Kelly and the likes of obviously those players. So yeah, hopefully.
I mean, Callum, when you look at your next opponents, Watford, and their ownership with the Pozzos, with sacking managers left, right, and centre, and they're only really attracting players from Udinese and swapping between the franchise of clubs, you much prefer the model that you have, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I think that's the whole big reason of why we changed it. I think with the stats and that we just seen there that you've just put up, I think that's probably the catalyst into why I think the Beryls, I think especially James, I think he's probably had a look at it and probably gone, especially after the last 6-7 years of how we've been doing things, I think he's probably gone, I think we might need a change. So I think that's why he's brought in Steve Gallen and Mark Fairbrother on the commercial side. Just to change up a little bit, because obviously he must have looked into it before joining, and obviously John may have had a say in it as well. But yeah, I think that's the whole reason of why we changed the transfer strategy to now keep us afloat, not keep us afloat, but to make us more of a sale club and, buying new players in, selling them off for bigger fees. I think that will probably help in the long-term future, especially like the ground, they're doing new things as well. So they're always trying to improve on the club and, the facilities and stuff. So, yeah, I think the Belgians have done fantastically well. I mean, obviously, since James has come in, obviously after his dad passed, which was obviously tragic. So, yes, they've been brilliant. So, yeah, honestly, unbelievable what they've done.
Okay. Right then, after Palace, it is Watford. Watford at home on a Monday night, Mike. I'm not sure how many people will be tuning in. No disrespect to Millwall versus Watford. It's a good game, this one. Do you remember the opening day of the season last year?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, that was a tough pill to swallow. I feel like we was the better team that day, and was really disheartened leaving in the ground, to be honest. I think we definitely owe them one this year. Just got to turn up. 2 home results, haven't scored. At home yet, and yeah, a big match. I think it's quite a bit of a turning point for. But I think we'll change.
Okay, right. We'll of course bring you that result, of course, next week. Finally, then, the international break always throws up this question, which is around: would you rather see Millwall promoted or England win the World Cup? So here we go. We're away at Leicester as our final away game of the season. Charlie, you can either choose to beat Leicester and go up to the Premier League as champions or second place, or you can wait a month and watch England win the World Cup. What do you want?
I'm taking Millwall going to the Premier any day. Honestly, club over country. It happens every 4 years. We always let ourselves down, even if it was a guarantee that we win it. It's just countries have won it before. It passes on. No one really cares after that. Whereas if I can see Millwall play, I want to get the likes of Haaland down the den. I want to, see Leonard 2-foot in Salah. I want to see those type of players down there. I want to see Ben Chilwell being scared to take a throw in again. I want to see those type of moments at the den.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take Millwall going to the Premier any day.
Okay. Callum?
Yeah, I'm the same. I'd prefer to see Millwall in the Premier League. I mean, I don't know. I just, like watching Millwall just go just in the Premier League, just the grounds, obviously the London rivalries that you'll get, the amount of London clubs that are already in the Premier League. Obviously, the Premier League will probably love us in the Premier League. Absolutely, probably not. But there we go. Honestly, I mean, England, I can't see us winning the World Cup next year anyway. So I think, just Millwall all day to be promoted in my eyes anyway.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, I'll say the exact same. Millwall's been sort of passed down through generations in my family. My granddad was one of the original Dockers. Down to my dad, my brothers, we all go. It's in the blood. My little boys all love it already. Or the misery of supporting Millwall, and I think having that one crazy season, and I do still feel like we can turn things around from the last couple of results. But yeah, I'd go Millwall as well. I think that would mean more to my family and going forward.
Okay, yeah, making memories, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Well, okay, let us know. Can we find any Millwall fan in the comments that's going to say, no, come on, England first? We only happens every 4 years, and for some of us, we've only got probably another 7, 8. Yeah, World Cups. Maybe not you, Callum, but you've got a few more left of us. The rest of us. Right,
do you know what? I would be surprised if anyone puts England over Millwall to get promoted into the Premier League. I'll be shocked.
Okay. Right, let's see if we can find one. Let us know in the comments.
Find out, yeah.
Okay. Right, join us next week then, which we will be looking back on the Palace game. Enjoy that one. So let's get some sweet revenge on them. And of course, we'll look ahead to look back on the Watford game as well. Thank you very much for watching. Do drop us a quick subscribe if you haven't yet done so already. Trying to get up to 400, 500 subscribers by the end of the month. That would be absolutely amazing. Thank you very much, Charlie and Callum. Great debuts from both of you. Hope to see you again. And of course, thank you to Callum. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great week. Enjoy the Millwall games in the next 7 days.